From what we understand, you are one of the founders of the Happiness
Well,
Program.
I'm the director of Action for Happiness, yeah.
Could you tell us how did the idea come about?
Well, it's sort of the culmination of 10, 15, 20 years of effort and work, not from me I should say, but there's been a growing movement intellectually in academic terms as to looking at well-being and why happiness matters and what progress looks like for society for some time. And I think this is really drawing on that. This is sort of saying, actually, now as well as thinking about what politicians might need to do and what academics need to measure and so on, we're actually saying that what the science shows and what people's hunger is for is practical changes in their day-to-day lives. So in fact, one of the triggers for this was Lord Richard Layard, who's a real expert in the science of happiness, wrote a book called Happiness: Lessons from a New Science back in 2005. And thousands of people responded to that book by writing in and saying, this is surely a call to action to live our lives in a different way. And so the idea was triggered then, is an idea behind a social movement here. So really what we're doing with Action for Happiness is being a focal point to bring together lots of fascinating things that are happening in schools, in businesses, in communities around the country, and saying the common theme across all these is taking action to sort of prioritise the things that really matter in life, our sense of well-being, our relationships, our community engagement. So Action for Happiness, as the name says, is about taking practical action in our daily lives to build a happier world together.
Where would you want to see it in 10 years' time?
So I think
What's your plans?
The tragedy is if we look at the last 50 years of progress in our modern society, we've made amazing progress in terms of financial wealth and material possessions and so on. Those graphs are definitely going upwards on average. But over the same time, any measurement of sort of social progress, of how happy we feel about our lives, has actually at best stayed the same. And over that same period, we've seen more young people struggling with anxiety and depression. We've seen breakdown of community and trust and so on. So for us, what success looks like is reversing that. Success is that in 5, 10, 15 years' time, we actually finally see those measurements of how happy we feel about our lives going up, not staying flat, not flatlining.
Brilliant. And the last question, what would you give us as an advice for a future journalist, hopefully? What would your advice for us be?
So, well, I mean, it depends what you'd like advice in, but one thing I could say is that the media has a really important role to play in how we approach our lives and how we feel about our lives. And in fact, as we've seen today in some of the things we've discussed, choosing to focus your attention on the things that are good in life is a really powerful way to affect not only your own well-being, but the well-being of those around you. So much of what the media does focuses on the negative things. It's looking for the cynicism, the kind of the things that are broken, the things that are wrong. That's important. Of course, we need to notice those things. But if we put too much of our attention onto those, we end up ruining our own emotional well-being and getting anxious. So as journalists, if you can play a role in spreading good, positive, inspiring news, that will make the world a better place.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.